Welcome to Storytime. Hi, I'm Mary Mayweather, and I write sweet small town romances full of feisty heroines, good hearted heroes, and small town shenanigans. It's time to grab your favorite comfort beverage. Today, I have an electrolyte drink. Now, comfortable? Let's find out what's going on with what I like to call Sweet Romance Landia. And today we're reading Honey, I'm Home. It's a kisses only, second chance at life sweet romance filled with fun, chaotic family and friend moments and some small town shenanigans. The first chapter starts with shenanigans, but since I'm only reading 4 or 5 chapters of each of my books, I'm skipping ahead to page 13. On Thursday, the men met at the local cafe to play cards over pie. This left the bowling alley open to the women who played for the companionship. Sarah knew her friends would be there. Now, while she crossed the parking lot, she passed a pickup that could have been mistaken as Ryan's. That's her boyfriend. She almost stopped to check, but talked herself out of the conclusion. Ryan was working somewhere in the countryside. Besides, several people owned black Chevy one-ton pickups. So she took a mental picture to remind herself where she parked and headed inside to find her friends. And just as she predicted, her friend Katie was at the counter choosing shoes, and she had her blonde hair pulled into a ponytail, and the pocket of her pink flannel shirt was edged with lace. When Katie's eyes connected with Sarah, she pressed her fingers to her lips. Her brow wrinkled into a singular line. Through a fake grin she usually used on men she wanted to brush away, Katie greeted Sarah. "What are you doing here?" Katie pointed at the sign behind the counter. "Ladies' League night?" She frowned. "Or does that mean it's all female teams play tonight?" "No, it's our night," Veda, the owner of the bowling alley, answered. She gestured with her thumb. "Except for the one village idiot over there. It's all women." When she moved her head to get another look at the person she was talking about, the pencil she had tucked behind her ear served as a pointer too. Out of the corner of her eye, Sarah noticed that Katie flinched. The reaction compelled her to take a gander at the one man in the bowling alley full of women. His broad shoulders and narrow waist seemed familiar. Sarah dismissed the feeling that she knew the man. The only person she knew with that body structure was Ryan. It couldn't be him because he was working overtime. She blinked. Was that her Ryan, patting a woman who looked like Barbie on the backside right before she dropped the ball? Sarah's world transitioned into a series of slow motion movement reels. Barbie walked up to Ryan and slapped him on the arm. Ryan dodged the hit and made a grab for Barbie. He reached for her waist and pulled her to him. She laughed, and then he laughed, and Sarah's heart dropped. There was no way to misinterpret the situation. Now, through the buzzing sensation that threatened to take over her head, Sarah heard Katie's voice. "I am so sorry." Some other words followed, but they never made it through the rush of indignation that filled Sarah's head. As if he sensed her presence, Ryan turned his head to where Sarah stood. His eyes met Sarah's across the room, and his mouth formed a perfect circle. From there, the world returned to regular speed. Ryan stepped away from Barbie, who followed his eyes, and she waved with fingers at Sarah. Sarah wanted to wave at the both of them with one finger. She held up her hand to do it, then remembered where she was and slapped it down. Now, Sarah wasn't the type of person to cause a scene. Then again, she'd never contended with high concentrations of whatever hormone resulted from anger. She turned on her heel and marched out the door. The cool air hit her and siphoned the oxygen from her lungs. Sarah clutched her chest and gasped for air. This had to be a figment of her imagination or a bad dream. She took a couple more steps toward her car. The next thing she knew, she was in front of the pickup. Ryan's pickup. It turned out it was his. The Montana-shaped air freshener she bought him hung in the rearview mirror. Ryan called out to her, "Sarah, wait a minute." She didn't want to talk to him. If she ever saw him again, it would be too soon. Sarah tried to remember where she parked her car. The location eluded her, and she cursed under her breath. The chaos in her mind was almost too much. Now, by this time, Ryan had caught up to her. His chest heaved with his exhalation. He did that when he was trying to get out of trouble with her. "I've been meaning to talk to you." She raised her eyebrows. "Meaning to talk? You were at the restaurant today." Then she remembered Barbie was there. Did you bring her to Keane's? Ryan set his hands on his waist. No, that was just a coincidence. Caitlin wanted to bring me some lunch. Caitlin. Her name is Caitlin. Where were her words? Indignation for being treated like a fool, mixed in with the sting of betrayal, had Sarah floundering. Sarah, you had to sense things weren't going well between us. No, Ryan, I couldn't because you were working overtime. Light bulb flashed in Sarah's mind. You weren't working overtime, were you? It's nothing personal. You're nice. She's just more suitable to my lifestyle. Is everything okay out there? Sarah looked toward the building that had bowling pins painted on the front wall. Katie, Veda, and the two red hat ladies stood on the curb. The red hat ladies had their arms crossed in front of them as they shook their heads in a display of disgust. Yes, everything's okay, Sarah said. Are you sure? One lady said. I'm friends with Ryan's mother. I can talk to her. If she wasn't so angry, Sarah would have laughed at the situation. Her boyfriend of 4 years cheated on her, and someone offered to tell his mother on him. That's okay, Mrs. Jenkins, Ryan called out. This is something we can handle like adults. Like adults set off a trigger in Sarah. She pulled her leg back and kicked Ryan's tire. The force of her foot connecting with the tire sent a ricochet of pain through her leg. Duh! She groaned in pain. She heard an older woman's voice call out, You should have kicked Ryan, honey. He's the one that deserves it. Katie rushed to Sarah's side and reached for her arm. At this point in the conversation, other women joined the crowd forming at the door. Katie pulled on Sarah's arm to guide her away from the conversation. He isn't worth it. Her friends work in. Sarah was already embarrassed. Ryan not only cheated on her, the good Lord only knew how many people in town already knew about it. Her erratic behavior would only add to the small town talk. Sarah grit her teeth. You're right. She marched to the convenience store across the street from the bowling alley. Where are you going? Katie called after her. To buy a bottle of wine, Katie called out to Veda. I'll go with her to make sure she's okay. Calls of encouragement and the effect of, if you need someone to share that bottle with you, let us know, followed Sarah to the store. When Sarah's nerves were rattled, her go-to beverage was usually a soothing cup of tea. With the frequent zaps of misdirected energy, she knew the situation called for something stronger. She chose a bottle that had flowers on the edge of the label. If it had flowers on it, it had to taste good, right? The cashier regarded Sarah with the questioning eyes. Is there anything else I can get for you? A sign above the cashier's head read, Powerball. $25,432,103. The countdown from 5 to 0 in the middle caught Sarah's attention. She pointed at the sign. What are the odds of that? The cashier's face wrinkled. Sarah looked at the person's name tag. Chance. He said, Powerball runs twice a week. It was just another instance of miscommunication in the joke that had become Sarah's life. She said, I'll buy one. What's the worst that could happen? Chance replied, You could win. That's all I get to share with you today, which is a bummer because the next chapters are full of delicious surprises for several people. And I want to thank you for letting me share some fun moments from the Three Creeks, Montana series. I hope you enjoyed today's reading and will be here for the next chapter. Also, if you're one of those people who like to read ahead, Honey, I'm Home is available as a paperback and ebook. I have a link tree in my bio that can help you find the story. I'll be back on Tuesday with another scene. It's going to be the next chapter. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you'll know when the video is available. Until next time, happy reading, and I'll see you in the next stream.